Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is the Uncanny X-Men 213. This fantastic cover by Alan Davis. We got Sabretooth and Wolverine going toe-to-toe once more. And anyhow, this is the final issue in my Mutant Massacre series. This concludes it all. I will be making a playlist once I've uploaded this bad boy. For those of you who just want to review the whole thing in one sitting. It's a great event in Marvel Comics. But anyhow, going on to this issue right here. This issue is written by Chris Claremont, drawn by Alan Davis, guest penciler. This is edited by Ann Nocenti, editor-in-chief Jim Shooter. So, great splash page. You see Betsy Braddock, Psylocke, focusing intensely as she uses Cerebro to help out the X-Men. This issue is named Psylocke. And there you have this, simple caption box over this fantastic splash page. I'm a stranger here. And she goes over her struggles. She's trying to help out the X-Men, but the X-Men aren't really all that welcoming to her. She goes over, the situation of the mutants and the X-Men and what's going on. This is classic storytelling of the era, recapping basically the situation and the setting of the characters and the story at hand for all the new readers. You get an introduction of Rogue, properly introduced too, and her background with her being kind of a fusion of many different things, including Carol Danvers. And, Psylocke trying to sort of help her out and, provide support, and Rogue telling her, well, sugar, that's your business. Flies off. Of course, I love the eye effect here that Alan Davis does. It's fantastic. As Psylocke goes around the entire room, recapping the situation of the Mutant Massacre. Nightcrawler down, Colossus down, Kitty Pryde down, the New Mutants completely missing. Holy shit, everything's gone south. And of course, her thinking about the New Mutants brings her to the awesome New Mutants Annual number 2, which I haven't reviewed on the channel, but it's great annual of the New Mutants. Also, fantastic Alan Davis art. And we review Psylocke, who is rescued by the New Mutants from the hands of Mojo, and her feelings toward Doug Ramsey, which is kind of alluded to right here. Of course, this is unfortunately in the timeline of Marvel, never realized. Those of you who know what happens to Doug, unfortunately. But anyhow, we move on back in the sewers after Thor basically nuked the sewers. The X-Men are down there trying to find any traces of the New Mutants. And Callisto's just really pissed off because there's essentially no traces of all of her beloved Morlocks. And Storm, of course, only has one word to say, which is lightning. And we get a flashback to the previous issue where Callisto and Storm were fighting each other, and a lightning storm kind of appeared. And it's sort of foreshadowing a future event, probably a couple years in the making, but still right here an allusion to the return of Aurora's powers right here. But getting back to Magneto's obviously pissed off. He has not been doing a very good job of protecting the New Mutants, and he vows he is going to find them and he's going to save them. And as they're kind of arguing about how to do that, Betsy appears and decides to kind of butt in and say, hey, I can help. I can use my telepath powers with Cerebro, and I can go scan the world for the Marauders and the New Mutants and find them, and I can help you guys. And then Magneto's like, well, that's going to strain you too much, and we don't really know you. And Storm is like, we'll take your idea under advisement, but until then, shut up. Not exactly what is phrased, but essentially that's Aurora being rather nice to her, right? And Wolverine actually commenting, and strangely enough, despite being a total freaking dick in the previous issue, he kind of opens up and says, you know what, she wants to help, And Storm is like, yeah, but, she doesn't understand how difficult it is to be an X-Men. This is also kind of flashing back to how much these characters have grown since the previous issue. It's amazing how characters grow so much in these Chris Claremont issues, right? So we go back to the mansion, and you can see it right here. Betsy's pissed. She's like, God, what do I do to earn people's trust? And then suddenly she senses something on the perimeter of the mansion, and argh! So the psychic power of the villain is so strong it overpowers her. And right when you're left on this little micro cliffhanger, we're suddenly in Los Angeles, and here's Allison Blair, and this is again kind of a flashback to what was the Uncanny X-men, I think it was 209, where we got introduced to Malice, which is kind of this alter ego of Allison Blair, and she goes over and just loses it, and she's tired of hiding, she's tired of pretending someone she's not, and she runs over to a fashion store and gets dressed up all 80s style, and Dazzler is back. So that becomes important very soon, as you will see in the X-Men books. Not in this issue, but anyhow, Rogue, of course, is kind of just enjoying. I kind of like Chris Claremont's Rogue. She's very whimsical and fun, despite her own inner conflicts with Carol Danvers kind of living in her brain. But unfortunately, this is the wrong time to be very whimsical, because she gets her ass kicked by Sabretooth. Like, very viciously, too. Damn, dude. Claremont does not, mind having any of the characters in her book get the freaking shit kicked out of them. Like, unfortunately, in modern-day Marvel, this is not allowable, just because, McQueen can't have any woman get hurt in a new Marvel comic. But back at the mansion, Psylocke finally realizes what happened. She tries to get back onto Cerebro to figure out who that person was. Fortunately, who that person was coming for her, so it doesn't really need to do much here. By the way, I love the freaking art by Alan Davis. God damn, sorry. I'm so distracted by how damn good this art is. But yeah, there's Sabretooth. She tries to disable him with the Psy Blast, but it's not enough, and Sabretooth comes chasing after her. God damn, this Alan Davis art is so good. Anyhow, Betsy does a very heroic thing here, and she realizes that there's still a lot of injured Morlocks, and there's Moira McTaggart and the nurse, Sharon, down in the basement. So she leads Sabretooth up to the second floor to kind of lead him away from the injured people that have no way of defending themselves. And Moira locks all the doors to protect them as well. And at this point, they're kind of like, well, we just pray for Psylocke, I guess. You get a pretty funny scene here where she throws a dumbbell at him, very interestingly. And Sabretooth just crushes it like, babe, you are in trouble. And so she runs and chases and tries her best to escape Sabretooth. And right when things are about to basically go very, very south for Betsy, here comes Logan. And man, dude, this is such great. Damn, this art by freaking Alan Davis is so good. And Sabretooth is thinking like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to eat this chick. What are you going to... Oof! He gets freaking punched in the nose by Aurora, comes after her, and as these two escape, here comes Wolverine, and it's time to really go this time. And unlike in the sewers, this time Logan's serious, and they go at it in this issue. Look at this, freaking stabs him in the thigh, freaking Sabretooth tosses him out the roof. They freaking tussle themselves into the pool. Magneto shows up, and he kind of fashions, and he says, okay, we're gonna, restrain Sabretooth and essentially interrogate him. But Betsy stops him and says, hey, his psychic defenses are really strong, and she's been testing him this whole time. And he says, well, the time to interrogate him is now. While he's focused on Wolverine, his mind isn't focused on trying to stop me. So let me use my powers and probe his mind, and let's figure out who the Marauders are and who the heck is running this show. So Storm finally relents and tells her, all right, do it. And this vertical panel by Alan Davis is fantastic. Look at the power flowing up. You don't notice it as she's like doing this. It's like, oh God, it's really freaking cool. And then these, other, breakdown panels, action panels right here between Wolverine and Sabretooth as they're just freaking mauling each other is great. She probes back and she gets more information on the Marauders and this mysterious figure in the background. And what's really going on here is we're learning the extent of who will eventually be Mr. Sinister, which we will find in a later arc of the Uncanny X-Men. So don't worry about that. So yeah, eventually, as Wolverine and Sabretooth are wearing each other out, she eventually is able to get all the information she needs, and she tells Logan, hey, I've got him, I found the information, you don't have to fight anymore. And Wolverine's, takes this opportunity to get a mental jump on Sabretooth and tells him, punk, you've been conned. Sabretooth is like, yeah, but you'll never catch me, and he jumps to the water, but Logan chases after him. I love how, like, he's able to bounce him, but Logan's like, you ain't getting away, bub. Unfortunately, he is able to swim away, so Rogue has to pick up Logan right here, and that's the end of the fight. So in the aftermath of all of this, essentially the Morlocks get sent with Moira over to Scotland for their own protection. And the X-Men come to a realization, which is, Psylocke was truly a hero here, saved all the injured Morlocks, and was even able to figure out from Sabretooth who's running the show and who's trying to get at all the mutants. And Wolverine himself kind of says that if she wants to be an X-Men, she's an X-Men. And of course, she comes there and says, I would love nothing more than that. And we get introduced essentially to the newest member of the X-Men, Betsy Braddock, Psylocke. British Psylocke, I should say. And that is it, the end of the Mutant Massacre. So, a lot of stuff was affected in the X-Men world by this crossover series. Obviously, the end results of Angel, that's a big one. The death of a lot of mutants going on here. Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Kitty Pryde kind of out of action for a while. And the issues of Cyclops' decision to leave his wife and his kid, and that conflict between the love triangle, now the new love triangle with Angel, Jean, and Scott, and of course the introduction of Psylocke as a X-Men and the return of Dazzler. So a lot of stuff happened in Mutant Massacre. Great series, great crossover. So great so that Jim Shooter ordered this to happen every year, which drove Claremont, Simonson, and Nocenti mad. But, what can I say? People wanted more X-Men, and they were going to get more X-Men. Anyhow, this was a total joy to go over all these issues, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments about the Uncanny X-Men 213, leave it down below, and I will see you next time.